Hello, hello, and welcome back to Paint Minis Live. This is Bill T from Paint Minis Live coming at you from the Creation Cave, doing a bit more to our Red Dragon paint job for Bill Sylvie over at the Dungeon Delver. By the way, cheers. Um, I like to think that no good paint job is done without a good drink at hand, whether that's a nice soda pop or maybe an iced tea or an adult beverage of your choice if you're old enough. Um, and I'm excited for tonight's stream. I am. I have some big plans for tonight. We've got our dragon on the spinning wheel, so we'll get back to that in a second, just to refresh ourselves on what's been happening with it. Last time we got through painting up all of the kind of like belly um, area, and the rest of it's more sensitive under serpent. I would call it, and we moved on to doing some light washing on the scales to kind of give them some texture and to get them just a bit more uh, life and contrast to the base paint that we did. And I think it turned out pretty well. It went pretty well. That was kind of a tip and a well, not really a tip, but kind of a trick that I tried out on something different. Not really with the same colors, but it was kind of a light over dark. I think I was doing skulls for um, for the Death Guard miniatures. That's what it was. I was doing skulls for them, and I painted them a lighter color, and then went over it with that brown. So that's kind of where that came from. In other news, what else do we got to talk about before we get into the painting? Um, in other news, we're going to be doing another stream Saturday night, 7 till I run out of gas, basically. We're going to be trying to finish this dragon as much as possible and getting it really, um, I guess, ready to go to Bill. I'm hoping tonight's going to be mostly touch up work. I think I'm going to do the wings off stream just because it's going to take quite a deal of effort to get those masked up, and I'm just not entirely sure my plan of attack on that yet. So we're gonna do that off stream, I think. Um, but we will be doing all the rest of the detailing work and all of that stuff on stream here. Just because, again, I'm not sure when I'm gonna be able to fit it in, so I can't like tell you, hey, at 2:30 on Saturday I'm gonna get it done or whatnot. I'm just not sure. I may even do it like early in the morning, um, later on. Basically, I tend to be a night owl, so some of my best work is done at like early in the morning, like 1 in the morning. I'm kind of that person, but so that's what we're gonna do for that. The rest of it, I'm again hoping on Saturday to have it all done. And then I just got to go find some matte varnish and send it off. With that being said, let's take a look at the spinning wheel, because I have a bunch of beer foam all over my mustache. Wrong camera. I am still. I unpacked the mobile paint studio when I came back from my trip, and I'm realizing that I'm gonna have to repack it again because I'm gonna go to a local gaming shop on Sunday, I'm going to go see what they've got going on for a paint night. And I'm going to go hang out with some folks there and talk to them and see how they're doing. But I really like how these scales turned out. Wow, what a good job. We did a good job. Now it's just picking it apart and taking the details one step at a time and kind of just doing little bits here and there in little increments, and we should have a pretty good model on our hands. Just taking a look at it while it's on the little spinner boy there. We're gonna do up the claws probably tonight. We're gonna do the eyes, I think. We're gonna definitely do the horns. And probably maybe the back of that tail, I think. And another thing I'll probably end up doing off stream too is that other foot that I've been using, like a chicken leg holding stick kind of thing. I've been likening it to like a chicken leg drumstick or something that you would eat, because it's kind of what it feels like in my hand, except for a lot sharper. And we're gonna look at this guy for another minute or two here. I'm just getting my gloves on and getting all that stuff ready so we can really start painting in earnest here. Got my brush, got my palette. For the claws, what are we gonna do for the claws? What are we gonna do for the eyes? Let me see if I can pull up the box art for this bad boy. I think I actually sent off the thumbnail that I'm going to be using for this series to Bill, and so I'm going to take a look at some messages we've been tossing back and forth together, and get a look at that box art before we start. What I should have, and I don't have right now, is an actual picture of that. The other thing we'll probably end up doing tonight too is dry brushing those scales, just to bring a bit more highlight to them, but with a very sharp highlight. It's looking like there's a bit of orange on that tail too, so we'll probably end up doing like a bunch of dots of orange and such on the tail. Your usual magical creature horns, kind of just that white color, doing a bone white, and so are the claws. So we'll do up kind of a less obtrusive white, anyways, on the claws, and then probably finish with a wash on them. And the eyes are looking, it's a little pixelated in this picture, but they're looking just yellow with black slits, kind of serpent eyes going on. And then we have a kind of a neutral gray or a dark tone for around the horns. So that looks good. He's got some dark parts around his claws too on the box art here. So we'll be tackling that. That's all the other little details now that the airbrushing is done, and so on and so forth. And we'll be taking this guy step by step here on the live stream. And now it's just a matter of, let's get the cameras set up, and we can get trucking. I've got kind of a messy desk again because I've been traveling a bit over the past couple of weekends, and I've been bringing the paint studio with me to practice my painting and trying to get other models done. So my desk is just maybe a little bit of a mess. All right. So let's see how that camera shot is doing here. Go back to number 2, I want to say. Or is it number 3? Yeah, it's number 3. So you can see, I'm just going to do a little phone thing here. This is basically what I'm working off of for this. This is kind of, he wanted the box art, and I'm pretty sure this is box art for it. But that's kind of what I'm doing. And the horns tonight and the claws and whatnot. So that's what we're gonna be up to. I'm gonna get some tunes rolling as I shake up some paint and get it ready to go. That way you don't have to listen to a ton of dead air. So without further ado, here's some copyright-free lo-fi beats for our pleasure. I think those are going to be the colors I'm going to use for the claws and the horns. Take another quick look at this box art again. Gotta do something for the eyes. What can we do for the eyes? I'm going to do warm yellow and then a really bright golden yellow. Oh, hey, how's it going? How's it going? I just realized that I just realized that I have the top chat and not the live chat going, but I see it, I see you in here, Sapphire. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You're playing Gamma World tonight. The brew I'm enjoying is Farm Girl tonight. And I kind of forget the name of the brewery that does that, but it's really good. I like it a lot. It's a nice light beer to paint too. Yeah, I can't wait to see you later. And because I'm gonna watch the replay, or if I get out of here early enough from what I want to do tonight, I'll be able to catch you live, which will be a lot of fun. Happy Friday to you too, and yes, we're down to the point where we need our good old trusty brush. You can only airbrush so much, unfortunately, but so that's what we're doing. Let's see here. I'm gonna start off with a bright warm gray. I think it's like a golden ale. It's just not filtered. I'm not a huge IPA guy. It's a little bit bitter for my taste. Do you happen to be having a drink of choice for Friday festivities tonight? Anything fun you're going to be sipping up for Gamma World? Merlot. Wonderful choice. Wonderful choice. Let's actually see. I'm going to move the camera here. Now we're going to get you a little closer in on the action. There you go. Yeah. I do enjoy a good red every now and then, but I'm a buttery boy. Gotta have that kind of nice. I'm a sweet red, I think is what they call it. Like sweet reds. That's my kind of wine of choice. Ooh, martinis. Very, very classy. Shaken on the rocks. Brandy or single malt. Yeah. There's a lot of German. I like German beers a lot. Like Munich lager style is really good. So I'm really into a lot of the stuff over there. I think it's because they have like it's most of their alcohols are usually pretty fruity. You get the hints of banana, at least in their beers, you know, and like good old Hefeweizen style beer is usually my go-to. Okay. How's your Friday? You been having a good one so far? Is it a little stressful? You're just happy to be away, maybe, from the office or what have you? I tend to get really quiet when I'm working on stuff that's like hardcore concentration mode, so I apologize if I'm not. Mm-mm. Hey, Dungeon Minister, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. Yeah, for sure. Milwaukee's best, right? How's your camping there, Dungeon Minister? Did you have a good trip? I'm really excited to find out what happens in Honeywood Part 2. Okay. So you were in the office today. I'm just starting the process on the horns here for Bill's red dragon that he's named Amaranth, I believe. Amaranth the dragon, which I thought was a pretty good name. I told him like every good dragon's got to have an epic name, so he picked it here while we were hanging out, and I was doing some of the underbelly scales of this bad boy. Yeah, I am doing this out of frame still. Gotta put this at like chest level, maybe. Pabst Miller, Old Blue Ribbon. Oh yes, my family is a Pabst family for sure. And it's kind of my natural fallback if I'm out at the Muni or something. If they don't have anything a little more crafty on the menu, which is kind of my speed, but hey, I will always fall back on a Pabst Blue Ribbon. There you go. Yeah, it's always nice to be near trees, but don't camp under the roots. There's a lightning strike. Learned that one in the Boy Scouts. Well, I don't know. I've found that the more I do to things, the less they start to look good. It's already got some. If you saw it on the little wheel of fun over there for the camera, I already did kind of some like transparent shadowing, I guess, on the scales, if I can get my lefts and right. I already kind of did some of that stuff for the scales here. So he's got a little bit of texture there on his, or sorry, her. She has eggs. That's right. Bill pointed that out. It's not a him, it's a her. She has eggs. But I already did do some of the kind of shading part for the scales. I think it looks pretty true to the box art anyways, in my opinion. Oh, well, tell Touchberry that I am very flattered, and I can't wait for Touchberry to experience some of my work firsthand in the future. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, yeah, the Empire Strikes Back shirt. I just kind of threw that on. I was like, you know what? We'll get really nerdy today. Maybe somebody will notice. I appreciate it. Okay, yeah. I can definitely relate to beer snobbery. Um, I had a godmother who was she was a professional like beer judge, I believe. Well, she was she got I believe paid to do it, but like she was a beer judge, and when she was not doing her other job, and she left me with the best collection of beer making supplies and books, and I have to make some beer now. It's now become a goal in life to make Terry Godmother's glass sipper, and then I have some can artwork that I've done where it's Cinderella's glass slipper, and that's kind of the joke that goes along with it. And I'm sure when I get around to it, she's gonna be awful proud of that. I miss her very much. She was such a wonderful person. Um, and the dungeon minister is not much of a beer guy. Got it. I'll make sure if I ever send you anything not to include beer in it. Um, grapefruit shandy, huh? Now that sounds like a real fun one to try. Oh man, what is the Canadian beer that I absolutely fell for while I was kind of near there camping? Uh, Canada does make pretty good domestic brew, anyways. You've been trying to find mead. Making mead is a lot of fun. I think you might enjoy that, Dungeon Minister. Making your own mead. Also, I wanted to find out how's your RPG club been going? Not the game with the fam. I'm gonna turn the music down just a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's heavier on my end or not, but how was the startup though at your ministry? How's that going? I'm eager to hear. Okay. Yeah, I've heard mead takes it's a very long process. Although if you ever run across barley wine is not beer. They call it barley wine for a reason. It's like the most souped up beer ever. And don't drink too much of that. I'm not saying from personal experience or anything, but if I was, I would just caution you on barley wine. It's very strong. Or so I hear. It's really hard. I can't really show this part on camera because of the wings, but I'm trying to get his claw tips painted up here. And they're like they're kind of behind him. Kind of in awe of these metal minis. They're very interesting. Kind of fatiguing on the hands though. Oh. Oh, okay. You had somebody who was kind of running amok, huh? Dungeon Minister. Uh. Yeah, I suppose. I think some people just like testing the limits. You know what I mean? They like testing the limits of just how far they can take things. 180. Wow. That is you could probably preserve something in that moonshine there. Sapphire. I actually need a little bit more water in my paint here. We're not getting the right coverage, everyone. Yeah. I mean, I'd still say it's a wonderful thing that you've got an open table there for the kidlets. Getting a little ahead of myself there. If I can keep this in frame. Oh, you run a game too at your local shop. I'm sure they appreciate that. DMs are in short supply. Okay. Hey, it's an interesting hobby and one that not a lot of people practice. It's also still illegal where I live. I'm not sure if it's legal anywhere to make moonshine. Um, my dad wanted to do it at one point, and then he was like, "Oh no, it's illegal," and I happen to be working for the fire department, so that's probably not a good idea. I wasn't sure if it was the state that has it still that it's illegal, or if it was more of a federal law for making moonshine, but oh, that's cool. Oh, hey. Hi there, RPG Grandma. I got your paint today, by the way. If you guys didn't know, um, I got some paint for RPG Grandma because she said she was kind of setting up a little crafting area and whatnot. And I was like, man, she needs some good paints. So I got her some paints. I got them today, and they're all in good condition. So I'm going to get those out to the mail on Monday because I've got a ton of stuff going this weekend. But I do have the paints for you, and they'll be on their way to you. Ah, okay. All right. Gotcha. So that's the workings of Canada and making moonshine. Got it. Okay, you can make it but can't sell. So it's a Minnesota thing. You can't make it, period, without a liquor license. Yeah, beer brewing for sure. But we're Sissy was talking about how uh she makes moonshine, or at least her husband does, or significant other. I'm really kind of liking how this is turning out so far. Oh, are you talking about like a spray booth for your airbrush there, RPG Grandma? Because I have some ideas for you. I got some ideas. By the way, I have something for you guys too. I want to maybe knock this over with you guys. Um, my niece wants to do a Dungeons and Dragons game, and I'm thinking, um, I'm not sure if she watches these or not, but we'll just shoot for the moon. Maybe she'll watch it after the fact, but um, I'm thinking that I'm gonna, as an intro to the game, I'm gonna have them uh, have their party basically say describe their best friend without using any names, and go around the table and have them describe their friend without using any names. And then at the end, I'm going to pretend to be the minister, and they've just given their friend's eulogy. And the minister will then take them all aside and hand them a copy of the will and a picture frame. And the picture frame will be a puzzle that will drop out a piece of paper that leads them into the first story arc. Is that cheesy? Is that something that's kind of cool? I don't want it to kind of be the generic you all met at the inn kind of thing. But I was thinking about doing that. What do you guys think of that? I'm gonna wait on that to dry. Just a little more before I go back at it with the highlights. And I'll need a different brush for that. I think this guy's a little big for these claws. Put you back on your resting sponge. All right. Yeah, they're like a group of teenagers, basically. Group of teens, high schoolers that I'm going to be playing this with. Couple older folks too, but like there, I think there's going to be maybe one or two that are my age in that group as well. But let's see here. So we did a gray. I think we're gonna do the highlights in this ivory color. So let's get that shaken up. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a very logical question. What age group? You know, you kind of gotta, it's you gotta have your target audience in mind. I've really been enjoying your series on that artifact book, RPG Grandma. That's been a lot of fun. I rather liked the lantern and what was the other one that I thought was pretty hilarious? Well, the tapestry idea I thought was really cool. Having like little training worlds sounded pretty fun. Oh yeah, definitely go ahead and go 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 do the reading time with the boy, and have yourself a good time. Okay, okay. I was gonna say too, if you're, I know RPG Grandma, you've been talking about doing like a spray booth thing. Mid young, harder to judge, as there's jaded by all the PC games, movies. Okay, yeah, sure, sure. That makes a lot of yeah, yeah. Fast and Furious buffing. Okay, yeah, I got what you're saying there, sissy, and that makes a lot of sense. Um, about that for sure. The drug section. Heat. But what I was gonna say here was that so I bought this spray booth, and you can take kind of a look at the technology setup here too. The camera's gonna get a little unstable, but so I bought this spray booth, and this is just like I think a generic. What was this? This is Vivo Home. I got it off of like Amazon for some money, but I like it because it's got lights in it, which is kind of nice, as well as the fan on the back. But like, I've seen people make these spray booths out of like cardboard boxes, and then you go and you find yourself like a very tight knit furnace filter. That's all this is. It's just like a furnace filter style material, and the higher the weave count is on it, or I'm not sure exactly. You'd have to talk to the hardware person, but just get a really thick weave one, and then get yourself like either a USB desktop fan for like your working desk, or just a small personal fan, and stick it right behind there just to draw the air in, because all you're doing is just taking that air and sucking it in the box, and as long as it hits that filter, you should be fine. Like, it's going to catch all the paint particulates and stuff like that. But if you were doing something like a model car, or anything to do with like enamel paints especially, or just caustic paint like that, you would definitely want to take that outside, or take like a spray booth like this and have it connected up to a window, just so that you're safe and you're not inhaling that stuff. Oh yeah, the spray booth here is pretty easy to wipe down, or most of the time, if it gets really gunked up or something, I'll just like chip the paint right off of it. Um, plexiglass. Plexiglass would probably work too. I mean, you're basically just making a funnel to your like filter medium, so that furnace filter like material. You're just kind of making a tunnel into there, and I shoot right in that spray booth, and it goes right where it wants to. I mean, we're using an airbrush, not like a small miniature airbrushes. Like, these are designed for small details and such. If you're painting a car though, you're going to be using something a lot bigger that's spraying a lot more paint, and it's important to have the amount of air that goes through there to be in high volume. But yeah, you could definitely use plexiglass. I've actually thought about trying to figure out a way to change this, because it's got this like frosted plastic on here, and I'm not sure I like that, because I have to paint outside the booth when I would rather just brush paint inside the booth. But the other thing too is there's a fan that goes on there, and it's really loud. So only when I'm using the airbrush I try and make that a thing. That's right, I put paint on the shaker so that we could have paint to do our highlights. Oh, yeah. Oof. Blue paint out of your nose would be pretty no bueno. I used to work at a brass foundry, and I had to switch up the masks. I brought in my own masks because they were the ones that they would give us. I'd get silica dust in my nose, and I was like, oh man, my lungs are really gonna hate me when I'm older if I keep doing that. And it's just not good for you. Move my palette a little closer here. That should look really nice over our little darker gray, for sure. But I usually don't worry too much about like acrylics, especially at the volume that I'm painting with. You know, I usually don't worry too much about paint inhalation because, like I said, the if you put a fan um, behind your filter and you have you know you make your cardboard box so all the air kind of has to move through there, you should be good to go, in my opinion. I mean, these paints are made for kids, um, for the most part, anyways. Like, I mean, you should take some universal safety precautions, but I digress. They should be pretty safe. Um, Unlike enamels and other paints like that, you really actually should be wearing. I would be wearing a mask down here if I was spraying those. So now I'm just going over like the top part of the horns in a lighter white, in essence, but only in kind of select areas, so that once I'm totally done with it, that gray will be the kind of dominant undertone. Also glue, yeah, for sure. Um yeah, for sure. OSHA not being a thing, I think is still a thing. Sorry if there's anybody from OSHA that sees this later. It's just a constructive criticism. Um and then yeah, the Canadian wildfire smoke has been pretty insane. I'm hoping that's nowhere near our friend Dungeon Minister. Wildfires are no joke. I'm hoping maybe next summer I can go do wildland firefighting. I have, I'll share with you guys just a little bit. I went through firefighting school. I went there for 2 years. Got my firefighter 1 and 2. I got I went to Echo 3 training and did some work with Echo 3. For the federal government, they're a like an active shooter response training type of thing. I went and did car extrications. I went and did confined space and like search and rescue. And I did wildland firefighting while I was there. But I don't have I don't have a red card, I believe it's called, for wildland firefighting, which is a pack test you have to do. So you load up basically a book bag, or they give you weights. Then you gotta be able to run like 2 miles in under a certain amount of time. And I just have not attempted that yet. But I also have a Sawyer's card. And I went through the class on like how to run the chainsaws, how to run the big chainsaws. Not just your standard run-of-the-mill Husqvarnas or what have you, your Steels. But I went through and did that stuff, so I'm hoping that once I get there, I can try and work my way into a Sawyer's position eventually. But I'm hoping to do that next summer. The Dragons must have gone to Canada this year. All right, hey, good to see you, Sissy. Thanks for hanging out for us. Yeah. Are you enjoying your Friday there, RPG Grandma? I hope you are. I hope you're having a good time out there. Sorry, I'm a little quiet here. I'm just kind of getting right to the highlight bits here. And it's always the fun part, doing the highlights. Especially when these metal models have not a lot of grooves, I want to call them. Yeah, there's like not a lot of raised edges, so you can't really do a lot of standard like edge highlighting on it. Okay, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I've heard it's been a blazing summer. I'm sure. All right. And where did that titanium white go? Put you down and put this white on the shaker. Hello, other desk. Big Bang. I haven't seen that show. Is it any good? Like, I know people talk about it, but, like, I haven't seen that. Is it good? Oof. Do you drive like truck? I've seen like a big old, I think it's maybe like a Mack or a Peterbilt in some of your stuff. I'm just curious, you drive truck at all? It depends on if you get offended by seeing nerdy you in the show or not. Oh, anybody can see nerdy me. I mean, what you see is what you get. I'm kind of like a constant nerd. Like the nerd never you once you put the nerd into the boy, for me anyways. You know, once you put the nerd in this boy, I should say. There we go. That's a better way to phrase that sentence. Once you put the nerd in this boy, it doesn't come back out. It's like a stain. You can't get that off of there. It just doesn't go away. Drive buses. Gotcha. I was working at a bus company once. I wasn't there for very long because there were other prospects that came very shortly after. I kind of just made it through training, and then I didn't even start really doing it. Nice folks there, though, for the most part. That were at that bus company. They taught me that the biggest distraction, no matter what, is always going to be your passengers. That'll always be your biggest distraction. When you're driving people around, is the people in the vehicle. You can have a mug full of coffee in one hand and anything besides the steering wheel in the other, but at the end of the day, the biggest distraction is going to be the people in your vehicle. And that has sticked with me ever since. Good piece of advice, that's for sure. You have an ambulance and a fire engine too. Okay, all right. Maybe someday I'll be driving a fire truck. I did the training for it. Like I know how to drive it. I've got basically the equivalent of a class A commercial license, I think. Like cuz you can drive a tower truck. Well, oh man, I'm trying to remember the exact license structure for that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, you can like for my state anyways, like once they'll train you at the department, but you have the equivalent of it to drive like a tower truck, and that's basically a full-size semi. The fun thing with that is that you're also carrying water. It's a really heavy truck. Okay, gotcha. I've seen transport duty done before. The only time I've ever been, well, I haven't done like non-emergency transport. The only thing that I did was emergency transport at fire school. And I have some crazy stories about emergency transports, but they're probably not for YouTube because it would scare the living daylights out of people. Okay, yeah, all right. Now that, yeah, I can see how that would be a challenge. But if there's anybody up to it, it's you. Just seeing how you carry yourself. If there's anybody up to it, it's you. I'm feeling pretty dang happy with these horns and the claws here. So we're gonna call those good until and let them dry till we gotta weather them out. Make them look like horns. Used to be an EMT. I've got to go back to school for that actually. I really should. I'm finding that they need more and more qualifications every year, and I've tried doing a couple of tests in my area for firefighting, but I haven't. It's a very long list of candidates, and I'm sure some people have been on there for a very long time, and they keep trying and trying and trying, and I'm kind of a new name on that list. So, but I think maybe if I had some better qualifications, my name might go a little higher on that list. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. I'll give you a bit of a closer look to what we've done here, if we can get some focus action. There we go. It looks really, really white in the camera. You can kind of see some of the gray that I put down under it, like from underneath it, but it's so kind of precariously posed that I don't want to like flip it over. Well, it's in the air like that, but so it's got a little bit of shadow to it. Once we toss some black wash or something over it, it should kind of dull it down, and then we'll just start hitting it with the same colors all over again to bring it back where I want it to be. We've got those. He's got some. I've got to shake up some black because he's got some. Well, maybe I should do gray instead and just maybe do some gradient stuff with it. Yeah, we'll make it gray instead. I'm gonna actually move this entire screen, the chat screen, over to my other monitor because this is killing me. All right, there we go. Much better, much better. Boot camp Yelly. Yeah, I haven't heard of a EMT trainer who's been Yelly yet, but that's definitely a first. Sounds like some kind of ex-military person to me, more than your standard run-of-the-mill EMT trainer. Yeah, head games. The older I get, the less I have patience for them too. I've little to no patience for head games. It's kind of like can't you get with the game? I mean, really, can't. We're all kind of playing doing the same thing here. Like, can't you just get with the game? I'm gonna put on some warm gray on these parts that look basically black in the box art, but I feel like I want to add more depth to them than just gray. Or than just black, I mean. Sorry. I want to add more depth than just black. How's the Big Bang Theory going? Is it a good episode? Again, I haven't watched the show, but I hear people talk about it all the time, and it makes me kind of want to pick it up. There you go. Oh, I could see definitely how having some EMT background would be a huge leg up in like a state trooper's medical exam or something like that, or like a test for it. Oh, is that like a cornerstone of the show or something? I know there's a lot of like nerd culture when it comes to that show. That'd be a fun live topic to hear you talk about. Um, Maybe in the future, talking about the evolution of the nerd culture through your lens, and just the um, the history, I suppose, of nerd culture that you've seen, the different stigmas, the different waxing and waning of fads through it. That'd be awfully fun to hear your take on, in my humble opinion. Okay. I am gonna actually switch brushes. This is taking too long with that really detailed one, and I'd rather not be here all day. Wasn't there another show that was like a continuation of that one, like I Young Sheldon or something? I think that's part of that show, right? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense. That would probably expedite your. That would probably be a good reason to want to get that card, or want to have that test, I suppose, on record. Because having to do it every year sounds like a pain in the butt. Also, where did the fun, relaxing music go? I'm not 100% sure. Let's get that going again. There we go. Are you like really into sitcoms? Is that kind of the RPG grandma pastime? Is to like the like watching the sitcoms? I'm into those weird shows like Westworld and like Game of Thrones and stuff. Those shows are my jam. Are you getting a little over certified there, Grandma? Hey, any certification is a good certification as far as I'm concerned, because then you don't gotta worry about it for a while. All right, now we're on to. Oh, I forgot to do the teeth too. I'll have to go back and do the teeth later. But you know what? That's okay. That's just fine in my book. I'm giving him the nostril massage of a lifetime because I need this gray to go basically up his nose. It's he's getting his COVID test, or sorry, she is getting her COVID test because she came with eggs. I keep forgetting that it's a girl. It came with eggs, therefore, it is a she. Um, but yeah, she's getting her COVID test right now via paintbrush. Hit the back of her brain with that one. And it's just kind of that snout area that I focused on. So the top is still red, but like in the box art, all of that area there is gray. I think it's because flames shoot out their nose or something. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what the box art looked like. Wow, you have a lot under your belt. Welcome back, Dungeon Minister. We're let's stick this guy in a little spinning wheel. Why not? I got it for a reason. That way you guys can kind of get maybe a more stabilized look at her. Busy, busy, busy. Yeah. It's not a bad thing. Keeping the staying busy is kind of a nice thing. Most of the time anyways. So did the boys get a good story tonight? Hopefully they got a slam dunk performance. On to the eyes. That's gonna be. This ought to be fun. Let's go after some hardcore detail. Benedict Society. When I was a kid, growing up, my mom would read me. My mom would read me the Little House on the Prairie books with Laura Ingalls Wilder and company. I think we read some of like the Boxcar Children series too. Um, what's the other one? There's another book series out there too by a he was like an old English veterinarian in like the countryside, and the only book title I can remember is like All Creatures Great and Small, and it's basically like all of his books follow verses from that hymn, and I really fell in love with those books. Like, just fascinating stories came out of those books, and it was always kind of our nightly ritual to find out what happened to the little calf. Did it make it out of? Did it make it into the world okay? So that was always fun. James Harriet, yeah. Okay. I see I'm hanging out with the cool kids. Have I actually opened this yet? Aha! I have not. Fresh bottle of paint. That's cause for celebration. Look at that. That is it looks a bit more neon, but it's actually a little darker on to the eye. A little less dark on the camera though. Oof. Okay. I'm gonna have to change my gloves real quick. Yeah, all things bright and beautiful, creatures great and small, wise and wonderful. The Lord God made them all. And those books were so much fun to read as a kid. It was great fun. Yeah, I haven't really. There's a couple of books that I've read, like truly read, that are not just, your standard sci-fi universe, Warhammer 40,000, Star Wars kind of books, I haven't really been all that like thrilled. I haven't. I mean, I guess they're okay. They're good. It's just not my speed, Just not really my speed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Critical thinking. Here, that is definitely a talking topic. It's one of those things that's kind of, I think, critical thinking skills is one of those things that is not really all that common anymore. Which is kind of funny, We're such at an advanced age that one would hope that we would be extremely critical thinkers, or like better critical thinkers. That is looking really egg yolk color, and I'm kind of falling in love with it. What are they calling this? Warm yellow. Warm yellow is pretty inviting yellow. Reminds me of like really just those beautiful dandelions you see. I'm kind of all about it. Oh, and I load my brush just as I realize I don't have any gloves on. The last thing I want to do is have the oils from my fingers all over this paint job we've worked really hard on over the past couple of sessions here. Wow, you're really giving them all the classics. Way to go. Shakespeare and more by middle school. They were pretty avid readers, huh? Their RPG grandma. Like, just hungry for it, huh? Good for him, sad for the universities. Yeah, I suppose. I wish I had the really nice nitrile gloves, but I was able to pick up vinyl gloves for cheap, and when your fingers are wet, it is like trying to, they just grab onto them. You can hear them. It's like really hard to get these gloves on when you've already kind of been getting your last pair all moistened up. That's really cool. Do you guys do like a little family book club thing there, RPG Grandma? Is that like is that what that's what I'm imagining, but like is that kind of the name of the game? Also, I'm about to get really quiet because doing these eyes, they're really, really small. I gotta concentrate quite a bit to land my marks, so to speak. Oh, wow. Nice. So for anybody out there, if you're using very small brushes, always keep them wet, and like clean the paint out of them often, because if you start getting a chunk of dried paint in there, they'll start to splinter and fray really easy, and then you kind of lost that really nice detail brush that you've paid so much money for. So just keep them clean. I like I'll go back to the pot or wherever I have my paint about twice before I'll start to clean it again. So just a heads up for anybody watching in the future. That's just what I do. That's my method to the madness. Yeah, I was stubborn like a mule when it came to homework. I was never really good at actually doing it. Right. Yeah. It always kind of feels like that's the hard part of growing up. Oh man, has this wing has really kind of unpinned itself. I'll have to be more careful with that. This thing really had a bad fall in shipping, and it's just kind of a shame. Oh boy. Well, hey, at least now they're enjoying themselves, you know? That's a pretty important part. Okay. There we go. That'll do it for me. Have their first jobs too. There you go. Hmm. All good choices. That's the important part, right? Start them off with good choices, they'll make good choices. That's what my folks did for me, and I came out a nerd, so take that as you will. I digress. We're getting some yellow in them eyes. That's just the dark color yellow. We're gonna go through and highlight it with an even lighter shade in a couple of minutes as we let that dry a little bit. Yeah. Mm. Oof. That is pretty rough. We had a we had a neighbor who unfortunately overdosed. Um, just a little while back. I can't imagine some of those pains. Yeah, yeah, I would. That's a good way to put it, Dungeon Minister. right, I think it's time we shake up the lighter color yellow. Yeah. So I know that you guys play like a lot of old school, like you're really about like the old school D&D, but has there been other versions that you thought were good? I'm just curious. Like I know a lot of people, you know, they'll stick with an edition cuz that's the one that they really kind of jive with, but like has there been other um editions of Dungeons and Dragons that you guys were like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'd play this too, but it's not like my first pick at the buffet, so to speak. Okay. I got in with 5. That was what I was kind of introduced with was 5. Um for me personally. I wasn't I didn't even know that they still had prints or like even that the information was out there for older ones until I kind of met this whole group. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Um AD&D as a player a couple times. So then um Star Fortress, Traveler a few times. What is Traveler? I don't know what Traveler is and I'm too afraid to ask. But I'm going to ask it because I don't know what it is. And I hear people referencing it, but like I don't know what it is. I mean, I know Gamma World's kind of a post-apocalyptic thing. Wait, hold on, let me catch up with the chat. Using Traveler by Mongoose. Okay, gotcha. You don't know how powerful everybody is. That's I can understand that. I haven't played Warhammer 40k 10th edition yet. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm kind of in the same boat with a different game. Okay. Traveler is your character dying during character creation. Fun. And a space game. Okay. I could I could get down with that. Although I could also get down with James Keck Publishing and his what is it 4CX system is pretty cool, and that's a space game too. But I don't think you're quite as brittle as dying during character creation. That's funny. funny. That sounds like it's made for some pretty experienced players. But it also sounds like it could be kind of cool. We're gonna let that yellow dry and then come back with some black. We're doing black again. Oh, there's no way to level up your character, huh? Interesting. James is a nice guy, that's for sure. He's too nice a guy to let your player die right off the bat. Yeah, right. You learn to play it and play it better. Just shake this black color by hand. I can't wait for you to get these paints, RPG Grandma. They're so good. You can hear the little rattler in there. It's got a little rattler for you too. So even if you don't got like a little nail polish shaker, it's like twice as efficient as just doing this by hand. Okay. Yeah, I've been plugging James for a bit. Like he's got some good stuff going over there. You can find him on Drive Through RPG, Lulu. There's a couple other places you can find him. He's got a Discord too. You could probably go to like Dungeon Delver's Discord and get in touch with him too. And if for anybody else watching after the fact, you could go ahead and he'd probably get you an invite going real quick. He's always interested in meeting new people. He's cool like that. More proficient at skills. Okay, all right. Huh. All right. We'll say thanks for hanging out with us, Dungeon Minister. Good to see you, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks for popping in. Oh, I sure will. And thanks for the compliment. I appreciate it. I tried filling in the pupil all the way, and now it looks really cartoonish, but I mean, it's literally like right in the sculpt. I, I'm probably gonna have to go and redo that. That's really, oh boy. So you've played a lot of different systems, huh? Different publishers over the years. All right. It seems like a lot of them kind of go that way. So we'll go back through and fix. This was, so I'll give you a little quick look-sees here. This was my attempt to fill in this side pupil was cast a lot better. And you can see it kind of looks like a dragon. It's got the dragon eye thing going on. Although on the other side, the pupil's not really cast all that well. So I tried to cover up with some yellow, and I'll have to do quite a few more passes on it, but I gotta kind of bring it back to that lizard-like shape. But when I first filled it in, it looked like it had taken drugs. It was kind of comical. It's huge on that side for some reason, and I just did not like the look of it. So I'm gonna go and redo that. Right. I mean, anything you can play, right? Star Trek. Ooh. That sounds like fun. DCC and OSE2, okay. Yeah, Star Trek sounds like that would be a really fun RPG to play. We'll focus in on that again later. Now we've got to do a green tongue. Dragon has a black eye. Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky part to do. I mean, it looks a little better now. Let's see if it looks a little bit better now, but I'll keep working on that maybe a little later. The other eye looks much better. I think I just got a little bit too ahead of myself on that one. So, but by the time I'm done with it, Bill won't know about it. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like doing fleet battles and stuff, and then like the away missions with all the wacky stuff. I'm sure would be a grand time. Especially for me, I'm like a huge Star Trek fanboy. I really enjoyed that show. The old school stuff I liked kinda too. I watched some of it, but I was like really into Next Generation for a long time. I watched through all that. And then I had to go on to the rest of them. Kind of just took off from there. I wonder, like, that would be really cool too to like see the mechanics of that and like how they would organize that. Yeah, especially with like the right group of people too. I think that would be a lot of fun. There's a VR game, virtual reality game for Star Trek 2, where it's like you're on a bridge with your friends and you all have your own like command consoles and stuff. I've wanted to try that for a long time, but I keep hearing from the community it's all like really young kids in there. And like I mean, not that I want to go play some super serious role play stuff in there, but it would just be kind of nice to have some folks with a little bit of background in the show. That reminds me, I should probably pick out the green for this guy's tongue. The box art shows it with a green tongue. What I have left on FASA. Gotcha. I think these two colors are gonna work for his tongue. We've got a yellow green for the base color, so it's gonna be our kind of shadow or our base tone, and then a very vibrant bright yellow green for over the top of it to make it really stick out. Whew. Man, my hands are just all kinds of wet from the gloves. How are we looking on time? I think I can get his tongue done in the next couple of minutes here. I'm gonna try and leave the stream. I think I'm gonna be leaving the stream soon here. I'm only slated to go till 9 tonight, but if it takes just a couple extra minutes to get that part done, so shall it be. Are you feeling better after your hot day? Finally cooling down at all? I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I could just use a dental pick to peel this off. By the way, Mom, if you're out there watching, thank you very much for the dental picks. My mom's a dental hygienist, and so she brings me fun toys like this to mess around with. And this is definitely going to help me from getting my gloves totally messed up. Or maybe not. You know, it's worth giving everything a shot once. Oh, that actually worked out pretty well. What do you know? Human ingenuity, folks, at its finest. Oh, heck yeah, for sure. That sounds like fun. I hope you have a great time with your company. I've appreciated yours. It's been really nice to interact with you a bit more. Hey, maybe something. Maybe we can do something together in the future. It'd be like a lot of fun to do something. I don't know if you have an active RPG group or something, but maybe I could paint you up something to send you or something like that. If you're interested, that is. Am I playing any games? Um, Currently, I've been kind of messing around with Todd, who's working on his own system, and I met him at the Guac. And Todd is just a character, I'm telling you. And then I've also been playing Blazing Sixes with James, and I think Todd's system's called Wildlands, and so that's been really kind of a fun adventure, kind of getting out of the standard Dungeons and Dragons system a little bit. Um, but though that's kind of what I've been up to in the game space as far as role playing games, and then I'm going to be being the dungeon master for uh, my niece's game. And surprisingly enough, you put out a little short the other day that was like, don't be afraid of being a dungeon master, just get up and do it. And that was kind of all the little push I needed to be like, yeah, I got to run this thing. I got to run this. I got to get something going for their little group. Because I just gotten so caught up in stuff, and you're totally right. At the end of the day, all you got to do is just get up and try. And so for anybody else watching this, if you want to paint a model like this, just all you got to do is get up and try. I'll give you the best tips and tricks that I can, but it's up to you to make something beautiful happen, and I think you should, because you can do it. Yeah. James's Blazing Sixes is like a 2d6 based system, and it's Wild West type setting, but it's also got monsters in it, so it's kind of Wild West like, but it's a lot of fun and super easy to pick up too. So I've had a really good time with him and crew. Sapphire's been in there. Some other people have been in there too. And it's been a really good time. And we've had some fun memories. Yeah. Start small and simple. Grow from there. Picasso wasn't a famous painter in a day or whatever, Just do what you can do. Do something that you enjoy. For James's game is all online. For the little group that I'm going to be running, that's going to be online too, because it's like about 250 miles that separate us. So unfortunately, unless if I did some kind of, I don't know how I could make that work on a physical table. I would love to do a game with physical terrain though, because I actually did a lot of terrain building back in my early 40K days for the game shop. But I moved away for better prospects, and those terrain boards that I had built I guess were sold off to a private seller when the game store decided to call it quits, which is totally fine to me, I guess. I don't know what happened to them. I made like really cool, I tried to do them to like the same specs that you'd see for like model trains and stuff, and that's that was my jam for a while, so I'd love to try that again. Right, yeah. Yeah, and I'd sorry, I'm trying to get the highlights on this tongue here and it's a little tricky. But yeah, I'm hoping that the next ones are going to be even better. I found a local game shop in the area that seems pretty keen on some of this stuff, and so I'm going to go check it out on Sunday. They have like an open paint night, and I'm just going to kind of stick my head in there and see what's going on as it pertains to doing their stuff. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I'm getting a little gassed here. Man, that wing is just really having its time. And I'm gonna stick Azaranth on the little motorized table. And we can get a good look at her new beauty shots with the beautiful mug. She's getting there, that's for sure. We're getting closer and closer to that box art kind of style that Bill's hoping for. Bill's hoping for on this model with every night. So Saturday, there's a bit more work to be done, but we're finally seeing the home stretch on the project. Hey, thanks for coming, Cheeseburger. Thanks for the compliment. I appreciate it. Got a little retouch up work to do on the eyes. The sculpt there is a little... It just... They sculpted it a bit too big. It looks really cartoonish when you fill that in with black. So I'm going to have to redo that. Originally, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to paint this to the sculpt. It'll be fine. And then it looked like it was really tripping out on something. They're better now for sure, but like when you look at it with your naked eye, it's a bit it doesn't look quite right. Hey, thanks for joining us, RPG Grandma. Your presence is always a great one to have around. You go have fun and have a great dinner with the folks that are coming over. All right. And thanks for joining us, Cheeseburger. I appreciate that you were here. It's good to see you again. I remember you from the giveaway stream too. With that being said, I think that's the progress we have made so far. Saturday, I'll be streaming from 7 o'clock Central Time, till I get gassed again, and then I think hopefully at that point we'll be sitting pretty for just finishing touches on this bad boy. We'll see what else is left to do. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone. With that, I'm out of here, and please come again. Come stop by again and say hi. We'll catch you maybe tomorrow if you're available. All right, bye-bye, everyone.